Hi there. I am Kevin Slater. I am running for the 62nd District in the state legislature for the state of Utah. Um, I have been really loath to want to make this video. It's something that has been on my mind for quite a long time, and I feel like it needs to be done, but at the same time, it's not something I really want to do or enjoy thinking about or talking about. It's just, it feels necessary. So there is, among my family and friends, there is a debate, I guess you might call it, that basically the government cannot help the needy and the poor because doing so is taking away the free agency of the citizens. And that is the plan of Satan. And we cannot abide the plan of Satan where you take away the freedom of people. We have to therefore give no support for the poor in any way by the government because you are stealing money through taxes to be used to give to people that we should give freely of ourselves. We shouldn't force it upon people through taxation. This is, guys, this is just so wrong on so many levels. So let's begin with certain why this is wrong. First of all, let's go to the Bible itself. I'm religious, by the way. I'm LDS. My whole family is LDS. Last time I went to church was on Sunday. I've just gotten called to be the word chorister, so I get to be up there leading music. I've never done anything like it before, so this is going to be a challenge. I accepted it because that's what you do. Anyway, so that should establish what kind of person I am. But anyway, this is not a good argument, guys. First of all, the Bible, gleaning the fields. Okay, let's start there. Jesus and his disciples were gleaning the fields. What are gleanings? Gleanings are where a person cannot harvest all of their crops in their field. Some of it has to be set aside so that the poor can go through and take what they need to, thresh it within their hands and have grain that they can eat. Jesus did it. His disciples did it. It was by law, people. This is a law that was established where they had to not harvest everything so that the poor could eat. This is state-sponsored care for the poor. Okay, so you have two choices. Choice number one: God is evil because he is forcing people to not harvest all of their grain by order of the law in order to care for the poor. Or you are incorrect. Okay, you are not correct. State-sponsored care for the poor is not evil. And let's break this down even further. Taxation is part of the cost we pay to live in a civilized society. I have explained this before. If you do not want to pay taxes, you are more than free to simply leave. It is not being forced upon you. So if you don't want your money going to feed or house the poor, there's the door. There's no reason why you need to stay and pay for those things. And if you argue, but there's nowhere I can go, everywhere requires that I pay money to feed the poor, well, that's because that's how we live in society. Like, every society is the same, and there should be like warning bells in your head about why that is and why you think different than all of societies we've ever built. There has never been in the history of our world a successful society that cut off the poor. There's never been such a thing. You cannot name one. Rome, going back to one of the ancient world's most popular ideal societies. They had the grain dole, where they took taxation money, they had grain set aside for people that couldn't work. In Rome of the time, they had so many slaves doing the day labor because they would conquer people and they would pick up slaves and then they would take those slaves back to Rome. They had so many slaves doing the day labor that everybody couldn't have a job. And so there were many poor that simply couldn't eat. Grain dole was the solution to that. And your family would be able to go to the government and get free grain. That lasted for centuries, and that was a very successful society. So there's that argument. There's also the fact that Jesus himself was a welfare recipient, because he and his disciples went out and partook in the gleanings themselves. Jesus was a welfare recipient, people. There's more to this. I can't think straight right now. I don't like this subject. This is not something I'd really like to talk about. It's also not taking away your rights, because we have choice. We have choice in how we vote. We have choice in the leaders we elect. We have choice in the laws that are created. This is part of our choice. When you say you're taking away my choice, we are not taking away your choice. You have a choice in voting. That's your choice. You are choosing through your vote not to help people. Think about that for a moment. You are choosing with your vote not to help people. And if you say, well, it's not fair, we shouldn't force other people who don't agree with us to pay for supporting the poor. And so I vote against these things because I don't want other people who disagree with it to be forced to pay. Well, I'm going to argue that you force me to pay for a bloated, unnecessary military that is overpaid and we don't need to be supporting anymore. And you forced me to pay that. So if you're saying, well, you shouldn't force people to pay for care for the poor, you're forcing me to pay for a military I disagree with. And you force me to do it. So that argument doesn't hold up, people. We are not being forced to do anything. I have the ability as a citizen of this state and as a citizen of the nation to vote, to choose the leaders that I vote for, choose the leaders I support. I can help explain my position to others and try and get them to vote along lines that I agree with. This is part of the process. It is part of our choice. And I choose to be obedient to the laws even if I don't like it. I pay my taxes. Whenever I buy food, I pay taxes. Whenever I put gas in my car, I pay taxes. Whenever I pay rent, some of my money goes to taxes. I pay taxes all the time. And some of those taxes are going to be used to support a military I disagree with. And I do it anyway because I believe in the system. I recognize that I'm a citizen of the United States, and even if I don't agree with all of the minutiae of the decisions that our elected leaders make, I still support them. So saying that do not take taxes from me to pay for poor people because that is taking away my choice, that's just garbage, people. Okay? Let's not have that argument. It is a poor argument. So in the future, let's build a better society. There are people that cannot work, and we should support them. Just like the grain dole of the old days in the Roman Empire, we should consider how we can support people today. We are cutting taxes too much. Those things can support children's health plans. They can be used to support people that are unhoused. We can support people that are needing work, needing just daily support in some ways. These are programs that we can be funding, and It is not taking away your freedom at all. You have the freedom to vote, you have the freedom to leave, you have many freedoms in how you want to see your government run. Let's not say that we are taking away people's freedoms by paying for things that support the poor. Okay? Thank you. That's all I have for you this week.